What's going on, you guys? Thank you for tuning back into another beat breakdown. Today I will be going over how I made this Ariana Grande type beat. If you are an artist and you want to watch this video to see how I made it and then maybe go purchase the beat, which I would really appreciate right now, then you can head on over to the link in my bio, or also it'll be linked somewhere on the screen right about now, hopefully, if I can get that right. But yeah, so let's go ahead and hop right into it. I want to make this a little bit faster video than the last one. It's a little bit simpler than the last one too. I didn't do all the melodies. I actually started with the loop. So let's go ahead and get right into it. So like I said, I started with the loop. It's at 90 BPM, and I believe it is, what's the key for it? A minor? No, F sharp minor. A little bit of weird key to work with, but I think it sounds pretty good. So like I said, it started with this loop. Go ahead and let that play. And then from there, I basically just added in these other elements of the melody. And I really wanted to go towards kind of her latest album, which revolved a lot around R&B, and there was a lot of strings. If you listen to the latest Ariana Grande album, you noticed the use of strings was pretty much in every song, and I love that. I love using strings in modern beats, and especially with trap elements added on top of that. I think it's a really cool sound, and I think it's coming up more into the pop world, and it's a really easy segue from the pop sound and bringing in the trap elements as well, which is pretty much what I love to hear in a beat. So my next elements I added were this cello. The cello was in Flex, I believe. Let me go ahead and hop into it. So yeah, once again, we were in Flex, just cello staccato. And I basically just moved along with that loop I had. I think I used Melodyne to kind of extract some of the MIDI, and then flipped it around a little bit as far as just keeping the progressions. From there, I went into this viola. And once again, viola was also in Flex. I love Flex. If you watch the last video I made on the weekend type beat, you know that Flex is one of the most underrated plugins right now, especially as a stock FL plugin. I think it's awesome of ImageLine to be able to put something like that in there that you can use for pretty much anything. So that's the violas there. So right now you can pretty much hear the entire melody. The only other thing I added really was this analog lab bass. The bass line, it was pretty simple. I actually made the 808 first and then went back and added this bass line along with the 808 lines. And these are basically just the root notes of the chord progressions. You can see it's pretty simple. And then so I have that bass line in pretty much just that little intro section, which is, I guess you could call it the pre-chorus, intro, whatever you want to call it there. It does come back in later as a pre-chorus. And then I do have it in the verse as a replacement for the 808. So let's go ahead and hop into the drums here. The next element I added was the kick. Super simple kick pattern. After that, we added the 808. And as I mentioned, it does go along with that main bass line that I had in the intro there. So from there, it pretty much will just work down the drums here. We got the open hat. It's also not a super complicated pattern there. I have this other little snap sound. Just to give it that extra bounce there, and then we do add in some other elements that are going to be landing on the same hits there. I have a second open hat. We're going to go ahead and bring in the main hi-hat. Not a lot going on there. I don't think I really did much other than the velocity and a few little rolls. Then we've got the rim shot. And that really just works with that snap that I put in the little percussion. Give it that extra bounce, and I think I took out some, as you can see, I took out some of the snaps within the verse there, just to kind of take away a few of the elements. And same thing with the open hats. I took out the kick, open hat on a few sections, and then the 808 was replaced by that main bass line. And I do have this other hat that's coming up. Super simple. I think that's just a 2-step or 4. Okay. But yeah, so again, it's super easy. It's not even, there's no extra rolls. That was just kind of a guiding hat. Keep the bounce going even when I want to pull out sections of other stuff. And then I actually did have another element that works with the rim shot and the snap. That's just a really nice snare. Last element I added was actually another drum. It's a drum sequence from Analog Lab. I'll go ahead and solo that real quick. So as you can see, it's literally just a little noise sequence or whatever they call it within Analog Lab. I just have it playing every 4 bars. It just starts over. Then like I said, I have that in the hook and certain sections of the verse there, just to provide a little bit of variety on that side of things. And I think those the drums that are like that, they give a really nice bounce, especially for Ariana Grande type beats. There's a very certain sound you want to go for, and it has that like kind of moving forward, but it's still very, very chill. Especially if you want to do more of an R&B vibe. This wasn't a super big R&B vibe. It was a little bit, but that wasn't really my main inspiration for it. But you can hear how adding something like this on top of the other drums and the melody lines really creates something extra. That's pretty much the beat. Like I said, there's not a lot going on. Other than that, they did some gain staging on a lot of the mixer tracks just to get it sounding good before I put it into the mixer. Once we get to the mix window here, you can see I have a soft clipper on the master, and I do have a few EQs on some of the melody elements. Just cutting out that low end, particularly for that bass line, that actual solid synth bass line. Keep it from getting muddy. Even it probably wasn't even on all of them, but take it out. Not really doing anything anyway. So, but yeah. So not a lot going on in the mixer. You know, has a lot of room for any engineering that an artist would want to do on it. But the only other thing left is the. You can see how the arrangement is. Not a lot. Not a lot. There's only, you know, you got your couple hooks. You got a hook here, or chorus, hook here. You got another, you can kind of see, depending on where I brought into certain melodies and then cut out the drums, we got another hook, and then we got the verse section, and it goes out back on the, basically a reverse of the intro. That just goes out on the melody lines there. So it ends with that verse, and goes back out on the melodies. And then in between the verses here, you have this other pre-chorus section that's really just the melodies. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and let it play, and that's pretty much the whole beat. If you guys have any other questions, or if there's any other beats you'd like me to go over, or any tips for how I can make better tutorials or beat breakdowns like this, please let me know. I'm still trying to figure everything out. It's kind of a learning curve for me, just trying to figure out what you guys would possibly want, what's going to get more viewers on my channel. Another it's kind of bad to say, but that's what I'm looking for is, you know, more people to watch these type of videos. So whatever you think might be beneficial to you and other producers or even artists, if you want to see more behind the scenes type stuff on beats, please let me know in the comments, or you can reach out to me through any of my social media, which will be listed in the description below this video. So until next time, let me know what else you guys want to see. Thanks for tuning in.